everyone, welcome to another episode of Web Explorers. Today I am with Susan Sanford, local scientist and science teacher. She's going to tell us more about Earth's ecosystems and food webs.
Hi, so let's talk a little bit about ecosystems. An ecosystem is a part of the world that is formed based on its climate. Climate is just how much rain or snow it has and what the average temperature is. There are several different ecosystems all around the world, and Texas is special because it has several all within the same state.
Sorry.
In eastern Texas, we have forest ecosystems, and you know that the main plant in a forest are trees. In the forest ecosystem, you'll find deer and wild hogs. In central Texas, you have a prairie ecosystem. The main plant in a prairie system are the grasses and the wildflowers, but we also have trees like pecans and cottonwoods. The animals that live in a prairie system, like bison and deer, have adapted, which means that they have changed so that they fit their ecosystem. They've adapted by preferring to eat plants like the grasses and the flowers, and living and hiding underneath the trees where they rest to get out of the weather. In western Texas, you find a desert ecosystem where it's very hot and very dry. The animals that live there, like the javelina and the bighorn sheep, have both adapted to avoid the heat and the difficulty in finding water. Javelina have adapted by becoming nocturnal. That means that they sleep during the day and hunt for food at night. Bighorn sheep have adapted by being able to find all the water they need in the food that they eat, so they don't have to look for pools of water to drink. If you go to parts of Alaska, you'll find an Arctic ecosystem where it's very cold with lots of snow and ice. The animals that live there, like the polar bear and the Arctic fox, have adapted by changing the color of their fur to white. Because their white fur matches the ice and snow where they live, they are camouflaged. Predators, like the polar bear and the fox, use camouflage so that they can hide and sneak up on their prey. Prey animals, like the Arctic rabbit, use camouflage so that they can hide and they don't get caught by the predators. The last ecosystem I want to talk about is the rainforest. As you know, it's a forest, so the main plants are trees. But these trees are special because they grow up to 200 feet tall, which is like a 13-story building. The trees are so tall and the leaves are so dense that the plants that live on the ground can't get any sunlight. So they have adapted to living on the tops of the trees, which is called the canopy. Animals in the rainforest, like the howler monkey and the parrots, have also adapted. Because the rainforest is so dense, they have a hard time finding their families and their mates. So howler monkeys have adapted by creating a call that can be heard for miles. And parrots have brightly colored feathers that flash against the green leaves so that they can be found as well. The way that scientists study ecosystems are to know what the food webs are in that ecosystem. And a food web is simply what animals eat, basically who eats who. At the bottom of every ecosystem are the plants. And as you know, plants need sunlight, water, and nutrients in the soil. The reason I drew the arrows this way is because everything that comes from the sun and the water and the soil goes into the plants. Animals that eat only plants are called herbivores. So we have the elephants that eat the plants, the gazelles, and the zebras. Now in a real food web, animals eat more than one plant, so we would actually have more plants over here. Animals that eat only meat are called carnivores. And so our lion, if he's really lucky, would get the elephant. A crocodile would get a gazelle, or possibly a zebra. So, like I said, food webs, many animals eat many things. Carnivores are messy eaters. They leave bits of food all around. And that's where my scavengers come in, like vultures and hyenas. They eat the bits that are left out on the ground. But even the hyenas leave little tiny pieces, and so do the vultures. And that's where the detritivores, like mushrooms and insects, like the dung beetle, they eat those tiny pieces. The itty bitty pieces that they leave behind become the nutrients that go into the soil, which goes back to the plants so that the plants can grow and the food web starts all over.
Susan, that was really interesting. Now, with supplies you have at home, make your own 3D ecosystem. Be sure to include the water source, the plants, the animals, making sure to be very sensitive about your prey and your predators. Be sure to share it with us on Facebook and Instagram when you're done.